Hi, I'm Talissa.
And I'm Rachel, and this is Transatlantic Crime, a true crime podcast that covers stories from each side of the pond. Every week, we will both cover a separate story with a running theme.
Disclaimer, this podcast will contain swearing and details that some people may find offensive. If you are of a sensitive disposition, listener discretion is advised.
Welcome to Transatlantic Crime.
Crime. So close.
So
There's so much to talk about.
honestly, I've got a list.
Me
yeah,
too.
we've had like listener mail.
Yeah.
Have you?
Did we? Sorry, I didn't know what you said just now.
Oh,
What did we get? I'm going to cut that out.
Don't cut it out. You're like, that's so cool. What now? We've had listener mail.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
What is it? More Bakewell tarts?
No. So, I've got a few things to cover. Yeah, we've had some listener mail, and it is from a lady called Naomi Clifford on Twitter. And she basically has written a book regarding the Mary Ashford case. So do you remember we did that case on murder stones?
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is what she said. And this is all on Twitter, over 2 tweets because it's too long. But she said, thanks for highlighting the Mary Ashford case in your episode. My book, The Murder of Mary Ashford, examines the case in detail and reveals new evidence about Abraham Thornton, who was the murderer. You might be interested to know that Thornton's alibi was based on timings, and one reason that he got off was the judge believed that Mary had consented to sex with him, and if he had not raped her, he had no reason to kill her.
Oh, that makes sense.
And she said, in brackets, I know. And then she was like, there was a theory that she had thrown herself into the pond in a fit of post-coital regret. I know again.
Oh, because so many women do that.
I'm so upset that, I'm just going to fucking drown
I can't
myself.
believe I just did that.
The fucking D was so good.
Or so bad.
Either or.
I just can't live to remember it.
I don't want to ever have to relive that shag. So yeah, thank you, Naomi Clifford. That was really kind of you to let. I love people giving us feedback and letting us know stuff.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you.
Yep. And then I have one more from a listener called Adam regarding. Do you remember we said that the police officers wear clip-on ties?
Yeah, and I worked in a police uniform shop, and I was like, oh, that makes sense.
Yeah, because like it's just the perfect way to strangle someone. So like, Adam said, in Wetherspoons, their ties are also clip-on so they don't get strangled, as mentioned in the arson episode.
What?
So yeah, in Wetherspoons, they have to have the same protection as the police. So if you don't know what Wetherspoons is, it's just, I think I've explained it before because I fucking love it so much. But it's like a very cheap pub that does like alcohol and food, and you could get like a beer and a burger for, what was it, $5.99 or something?
Yeah, like $5.
Once upon a time it was like $3.99, but then they obviously inflation and stuff.
And they did like Tuesdays is spaghetti day or whatever, and it's like it is like £3 or
it's
whatever.
Just dirt cheap, and it's not even like, you know, sometimes you're like, oh, I'll go there, it's cheap and disgusting. Like I don't personally think Wetherspoons is that disgusting. Like I think it's the food's fine.
Yeah.
And the booze is definitely fine.
I mean, it's the same as anywhere else.
But we can't go there anymore because at the start of lockdown, the piece of shit that runs Wetherspoons like sacked everybody rather than put them on furlough, and like basically he's just a massive Brexit supporter and he's just a like all-round awful person, so that's something else I can't enjoy now.
We should start our own franchise.
Oh,
Transatlantic
burger
spoons.
and beer. I think for it to be like, it's like Amazon and it's in that same school.
Yeah.
It's only good because they're evil. The only way they get that efficient and that cheap and that great is
because they treat people like shit.
Someone's getting fucked along the line, basically. That's the only way it's ended up so easily consumable, like at the end portion.
Right.
Sad times. That's all my news up front. Have you got anything?
Oh my gosh, I have so much. Some of it, like, I just feel like everything is relevant right now.
Yeah.
Like this week.
Yeah, go on.
But by next week, it'll be old news.
Well, you better fucking say it then.
Okay, so Keith Raniere from
Oh, yeah.
Nexium
Yeah.
was sentenced to 120 years.
120 years, motherfucker. It was good, isn't it?
Yes. Yes.
I think his ultimate downfall was the child porn
Oh, yeah.
section, because if you didn't know, like, I didn't know this actually until I found out what he got convicted for. Like, all through the Nexium stuff, I thought he got convicted for all the stuff he did to the women in Nexium, which is bad enough.
Yeah, me too.
Then you find out that he basically, in Mexico, he had sex with 3 daughters, like, of the same family, and one of them was 15. Sisters. Yeah.
Yes. 3 sisters. One of them was 15, and all 3 of them had to at some point have abortions. And I think one of them had one of his kids, like, had a baby.
Yeah.
I think. I'm not 100% sure on that, but I know that they all had to have abortions.
There's abortions and pregnancies and secret naked photos flying about all over the shop.
Yeah.
Where he's concerned.
Yeah, and he's acted like this, like, righteous, another Dalai Lama type person, and it's like, you're not.
So
clearly you're not.
I finished watching The Vow last night. Like, well, up to episode 9, which, is there any more? Or is that it?
That's the last episode.
Okay, cool.
Until 2021.
Oh, it's so good. Also, I also found out today that he has his own podcast that he's putting out from prison.
Yes.
Like, somebody's just recording his prison phone calls and he's just going off on some crap monologue.
Yeah. You know who else is doing that?
Oh, Stephen Avery.
No. Did you watch the whole Fire Festival debacle documentaries?
Yeah.
He was doing one.
Oh,
and
God.
I just, what's his name? Mick something. Brian, I don't know. Brendan. Whatever.
Some, like, bro name.
Yeah, some bro name. He does look like a bro.
Yeah.
But he was doing a podcast called Dumpster Fire, and it's spelled like FYRE.
What?
Yeah, it's just telling his take on it and how he wants to, like, apologize and all this kind of bullshit.
Who is listening
and I
to
read
that?
I know. I know. But I read that he got put into solitary confinement because he started that podcast, and he wasn't supposed to.
So he was punished for it?
Supposedly.
Okay. Because you're basically not supposed to profit off your crimes.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. There was somebody recently who, like, is getting, like, in trouble for trying to sell what... was it, like, Keith Hunter Jesperson, I think? You know, like the...
selling pictures?
The smiley face killer or something. Yeah, like he's selling artwork, or he's selling pictures, or he's, like, written some shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was him. Because All Killer No Filler, which is, like, another podcast that I love, they did an episode on him most recently.
I almost did him.
Really?
For this week's theme.
Like a Halloween?
Yeah.
Yeah, that is the theme, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Every week.
Well, I was gonna wait because we usually say it, like, when we start.
But... Yeah. Also, Adam, the same guy that told me about the Weatherspoons ties, was like, cool. So you're doing, like, a Halloween episode, and then, like, on Halloween, then you do a regular one. I was like, no. Just
what? What do we have time for, you guys? This is all we have time for right now.
I was like, Rachel can only do so much editing of my stupid voice in a week. Like, come on. So yeah, sorry that it's not, like, officially a Halloween episode, but again, the time it takes a lot of time.
Also, this is a very stressful time because
America?
The day after this episode comes out, so our episode comes out Monday. So if you're listening, tomorrow is election day.
Shit. Well, Biden's looking really good. I know that.
Hey.
I know Hillary looked good.
That's exactly what they said.
I know what you're gonna say. But
it's just like me and everyone I know right now are just, nobody wants to be optimistic.
No.
So
I understand.
Because then you're even more so let down.
Like, also 2020 is the year where you open the door and you just see, like, what the fuck is that?
The plague.
Yeah, you just see, like,
the apocalypse.
Or, like, a picture of you being conceived, or, like, just something disgusting that you don't want to see. You're just like, my eyes! Like that is 2020. So I do understand. There's a really good, in all seriousness, there's a really good podcast by a girl called Cara Lowenthal, who is a
Yes.
feminist life coach, and she did an episode this week on like election anxiety, which I think could probably be useful to us all.
I haven't listened to that yet, but yeah, I like listening to her in the morning, her podcast, Unfuck Your Brain.
Yeah, it's great.
Because it like sets you up for the rest of the day. You're like, yes, I'm ready for the day.
It does unfuck your brain. Like
it really does.
For at least like 10 minutes. It's really good. It did help me actually, because I mean, I won't explain it as well as her, but what she's basically saying in a nutshell is like, you are scared of something that hasn't happened yet because you're scared of how you're going to feel when that happens.
Yes.
But it's like, one, it really hasn't happened yet.
Yeah.
You're wasting energy if you're worrying about how you're going to feel when that happens. Like, a productive way to spend that energy would be, okay, let's make a contingency plan for if what I don't want to happen happens. And then that could include things like campaigning, researching like who you could vote for in your constituency to make it a better chance of you winning next time. Like, you can't change what's happened, but you can put your energy into something a bit more productive.
Right, exactly.
Which was
also
helpful.
I listened to hers recently and it was like, it's really helped me, but this is a completely different episode that she did. But when you start panicking or like your anxiety is getting to you, if you just tell your brain this is not affecting your survival.
Yeah.
As I was listening, I was like, really? That's like, but I've done it and it works.
Yeah, it does.
It's like, you're not gonna die. You're not gonna be left in the cold.
No.
You're gonna be okay.
Yeah, like what she says is, if you've got a situation that you're panicking about, like, take it to its end degree. So it's like, I'm naked and I haven't got any food and I'm under a bridge. Like, that's what you think is going to happen. And it's like, no.
Yeah.
You will still have your family. You will still have, like, you can get out of this. Like, yeah.
You'll live.
Yeah, which has helped me as well sometimes when I'm like, I don't know, if you're like, your boyfriend hasn't texted you back for like 4 hours or something and you're just like, oh God. It's just like,
you're going to die.
Yes, like, your life does not depend on that.
Right.
Yeah. Although at the time, I totally understand that it feels like it does, because your brain has gone, he doesn't love me, I'm naked under a bridge. Yeah, which is what my brain has done a lot in the past.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, so any more news? Keith Raniere, he's dead. Good.
Keith Raniere, election day. Good luck, everyone. I hope you're okay if you're listening in America. 2 more things. Okay, so we have a new Patreon follower.
Yes.
Ed. Thank you, Ed.
Yes, thank you very much, Ed. We really appreciate your contribution.
Yes, awesome. And what was the other thing? Oh, tote bag giveaway.
Yeah. So we've had a fair few entries. I'm going to repost it again and remind everybody. But yeah, so I have the tote bag prize to send to you swiftly when the winner is announced. And I also bought one for myself.
Awesome.
Because I'm a cunt.
I'm going to, and I think I'm going to get a mask as well.
Nice.
I need more masks.
Do you know what though? That's like right on your face as well, so it's such a good advertisement.
Exactly.
I will turn the mask option on because it's not on at the moment. And also, funny thing that happened when I said that we got merch, my mum commented on the Facebook post going, "You girls are going places." I was like, right, I set that up. No one has like come along and gone, Jesus, these girls need some merch.
H&M didn't contact us for a collab.
We're not in fucking partnership with Gucci. It's honestly, it's a Redbubble shop. Like, Mum, you could set one up with your face on a bag if you so wished. Anyway, that was the first funny thing. And the second funny thing is, she said, do you know what? I might get people that for Christmas. I was like, Mum, people don't want that stuff for Christmas.
Oh, that's so nice.
She's gonna buy people Christmas presents that's just like a bag with my podcast on it. How pissed off would you be?
Yeah, that's like someone getting like, obviously not this level, but like, here's a mug with Joe Rogan's podcast on it. It's like, I don't listen to that.
It's not even that. It's more like she's going to give them to my 2 older brothers and be like, here's a bag of your sister doing well. It's going to seem really like shady.
Aww.
Like I'm the golden child. It's just been confirmed. Do you know what though? How cute is that? Isn't it like the most mum thing you've ever heard?
Yeah, 100%.
She loves me so much. She thinks people give a fuck as much as she does. I'm just like, Mum, they don't. In fact, they'll resent you. Like,
That's a great advertisement for our merch shop, so
yeah,
check it out.
If you want to be like Georgie and buy your friends and family merch, just something they don't even listen to, then be my guest.
Yeah. Okay, we've been talking for like 20 minutes. So
Okay, that's fine.
we should get into our episode.
Yep, no problem. Who's first this week?
That would be me.
Yeah, okay, cool. So this week's theme, Rach, is Halloween.
Halloween. Ooh. Is Halloween cancelled in England this year?
It never really, like, for you guys, it's all like going to like proper dressing up as anything you want and going trick-or-treating. In England, you dress up as something scary or something slutty. There's no other option. You can't just dress up as Superman. Like, I've never got that about America. Like, it's not a general dress-up party. It's a scary dress-up party.
It's because in the UK, you guys have more fancy dress. That's what you call them, fancy dress parties.
What do you call them?
America, just a costume party, a Halloween party.
Costume.
But like you do them throughout the year for different things if you want to. Like if it's someone's birthday or whatever.
Yeah.
America doesn't really do that.
Really? It's good fun.
Yeah, the only time we do it is Halloween. That's why it's like a free-for-all for dress whatever you want.
Okay, fair enough. Now you've explained it, I suppose I see your point of view.
Yeah. So, yeah, dress however you want. I just mean, like, I think kids aren't allowed to trick-or-treat this year, which kind of sucks for them.
Yeah, no, we wouldn't be doing trick-or-treating this year.
That sucks. And no parties either.
Oh, well, that is the worst part, yeah. A lot of my friends are like, is anyone having a Halloween party on the down low? We're like, no one's brave enough. Like, no.
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 And they're saying America is just, we're getting worse with the coronavirus. So they're saying that the numbers are going to go up again.
Yeah, we're
really
bad.
Sucks.
We're like on the verge of another lockdown.
Yeah, you guys are on the same level as us as like shit show level.
Yeah. It's not good. Like, it's the highest, I think the death count is the highest it's ever been.
Yeah.
And
same.
Yeah.
You're stuck at home. Listen to us.
That's why we do
enjoy
this
Halloween episode.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Okay, so hit me with your story, Rach.
Okay. My story this week is The Disappearance of Cindy Song.
Ooh, never heard of it.
Sound familiar?
Nope, never heard of it. Great name.
Okay. Hyun John Song was born on February 25th, 1980 in South Korea. In 1995, at age 15, she moved to the U.S. to live with her aunt and uncle in Springfield, Virginia, where she finished her high school education. Here she was known as Cindy Song.
Great name.
Yeah. Cindy loved her new life and freedom she had when she moved to America, and she took her education seriously. Once graduating high school, Cindy moved to State College, Pennsylvania, to attend Pennsylvania State University. She chose to study integrative arts, a multidisciplinary student design program combining science, engineering, business, and communications with the arts.
Wow.
That sounds complicated and smart.
Yeah, it does.
She was described as disciplined and focused. She worked 2 jobs in between classes. By 2001, she was in her last year, ready to graduate in a few months, when she decided to take a break from her jobs and studies to go to a Halloween party with her friends Stacy Paik and Lisa Kim. They went to a costume party at Players Nightclub. Cindy dressed as a rabbit, a costume that consisted of a pink sleeveless shirt with a rabbit design on the front. I think it was like a Playboy-like emblem.
She's gone the slutty route.
No, she didn't.
Okay.
No, there's an episode of Unsolved Mysteries with this story, and her friend was in it, and she was like, she wasn't that kind of girl. She liked to dress cute.
Okay.
She had the shirt, and then she had rabbit ears. She had a white tennis skirt with a cotton bunny tail attached to the back, brown suede leather knee-high boots, and a red-length hooded parka. So she was just cute.
Also, it's cold.
Yes.
I'm assuming.
I saw, side note, Minnesota, it snowed like a week ago.
Really?
In Minnesota. Yep. and I saw this like meme, and it was like Halloween costumes in Minnesota, and it's just like all those slutty costumes, you know, that you see in like a magazine
Yeah.
where the model's wearing them, but somebody like put big coats over them. It's just like huge coats over like slutty Peter Pan, slutty cat.
Slutty witch?
Yeah. It's like you can't see anything. And that's what Minnesota Halloween is like.
Yeah. You dress up as like a sheep.
Yeah. You dress up as anything. Anything you want. You're going to be wearing a coat over it anyway. So.
Yeah. I've come as someone who doesn't want to die of hypothermia.
Right. There's like a famous year when I was, I think, 5 or 6. It snowed like 3 feet of snow on Halloween, and I remember trick-or-treating in it and only going down like a block or half a block and being like,
fuck
my hands
this.
are falling off. I'm done. I can't do it anymore.
Can't eat candy if you got frostbite.
Yeah, exactly. All the candy's frozen.
Okay.
So the 3 friends stayed at the club until 2 a.m., and then they went to a friend's apartment to play video games and probably sober up. At 4 a.m., she was dropped off at her apartment by Stacy. Stacy later said that she watched Cindy go up the steps but did not wait to see if she entered the door of her apartment. That was the last time anyone saw her.
Always wait to see they've got in safe.
Yeah.
That's like friend 101.
Yeah, definitely.
Not that I'm like blaming this girl, but
no, not at all. And I'm sure I've been there before where it's like you go up the steps, you're basically at your door. You know, you're good. No one's around.
Well, that's what you think.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm so obsessed with fucking murderers that there's no way.
Right.
There's no way I would believe I'm safe until the door is shut and fucking locked.
Yes. And then text me when you're like in your bed so I know.
In bed, windows locked. Oh my god. Right, sorry, another sidebar. Again, my mum, she swapped rooms in the house so that my childhood bedroom and her bedroom were swapped round. So I'm now in her bedroom. Whenever I go home to stay, I'm like in my parents' bedroom, basically. So there's still all the furniture in there, but it's basically empty. So like the cupboard's empty, like everything's empty. And I looked in the bedside drawer, just being nosy. Fucking knife.
Your mom knows.
Like, I was like that. Can't blame you.
Yeah. You're your mother's daughter.
I really am. I was like, didn't take that to the new room. Like, just leave that there for me. What do you fucking know that I don't?
Maybe she has her own.
She fucking definitely got her own. If she's leaving spares.
Rather than a Bible, you find a knife.
Honestly.
There should be that.
There should be a knife in every bedside drawer. Anyway, sorry, Rachel. Go ahead.
I think we have a hammer under our bed.
I'm surprised I haven't got a gun.
That's funny because we were talking about that today.
Like, what? If Trump gets in, there's going to be riots or like...
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Will was like, maybe I should get a gun. And I was like, in what situation?
You will shoot
Are
your
you
face
gonna-
off. Or my face.
He was like, what if people break in because they found out that you donated money to Black Lives Matter?
Oh my god. Oh, the thing is though, again, on the Cara Lowenthal podcast, she was like, as a Jewish woman, I was shitting myself that Trump might get in. And who was the other guy who was like anti-Semitic? Was it not Mike Pence, like someone else?
Probably is Mike Pence that she was talking about.
One of Trump's very close aides or like his campaign manager or something like got done for anti-Semitism. And she was saying like, I grew up in a house where the Holocaust was mentioned all the fucking time. And she was like, she was like, the general attitude in my house was when things started going downhill in Germany, some people left and those people survived. Whereas like the people that were going, nah, everything's fine, like they were fucking trained off to Auschwitz. So she was like, in my head, I'm shitting myself thinking, when is my time to leave?
Yeah.
Because I'm going to get fucking persecuted again.
Right. Where am I going to go?
Yeah. And like, that's, when you hear it from that point of view, it's like a completely reasonable thing to think.
Yeah. And it's scary that I'm thinking about that stuff right now.
Yeah. And I mean, what have you done? Supported Black Lives Matter?
Right.
Look, it's not going to be that bad, okay? Let's not fucking... I know this episode's supposed to be scary, but Jesus!
Not real life scary.
Not like, I'm talking like fucking vampires and werewolves. Oh.
I'm like, I can't think about that. It's only days away.
Oh my god, I'm just praying for you. I really am, Rach.
Yeah. Thanks, Talissa. You're not even religious.
Not in like a weird Christian way, just in like a will it to happen way.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't matter.
Anyway. Okay. So she walked up to her apartment. That was the last time anyone saw her.
That's petrifying.
Mm-hmm. Later that day, so November 1st, Cindy's roommate returned from visiting her family from out of town. She did not find anything out of the ordinary. The apartment was locked, but Cindy wasn't there. After her friends, who had not heard from her for 3 days, during which time she had also missed another night out and had not turned up to her job or classes, they contacted the police on November 4th to report her missing.
I always wonder if 3 days is like too long.
Yeah.
Because obviously it's like the first 48, isn't it?
Yeah.
I guess they are all doing their own thing. They're young.
I know, and you don't always know. Like, maybe she was hungover and she slept the day. Or she didn't, because her roommate didn't see her, but, you know.
She had a roommate then?
She had a roommate.
Yeah.
And then her friends as well.
Okay.
Investigators searched Cindy's home 2 days after that, after she was reported missing, finding her fake eyelashes that she was wearing that night. They were on the bathroom counter, as well as her backpack and phone that she had with her on that night. They were also left at the apartment.
Shit, so she's like gone in and taken her eyelashes off and put her shit down, and then something's happened.
Yeah. The only thing that was missing was Cindy's purse, which contained her keys, ID, and credit card. They thought that she may have walked to the 24-hour convenience store down the street from her apartment, something that she was known to do at odd hours, and something may have happened to her on her walk, or back. This, at the time, was the only reason investigators and friends could come up with to explain Cindy's abrupt disappearance. However, by the time they went to the convenience store, security tapes had already been recorded over.
Oh, well, it has been 5 days.
Yeah. It's been a few days. In my opinion, I don't think she even made it to the convenience store, because in everything that I read, nobody talked about how the convenience store clerk was like, oh yeah, I saw her. She was wearing her bunny ears.
Especially if she was a regular as well.
Right, exactly. You noticed if someone comes in at odd hours and they're a young woman, I think.
Yeah.
You would notice that.
Yeah.
In the month following her disappearance, Cindy's family came from Virginia and South Korea to follow the investigation and keep a vigil for Cindy's return. Cindy's brother, Ki Ho-song, traveled from South Korea to the States, quitting school just to follow the progress of finding his sister. Her mother also came, but had to return to South Korea to care for Cindy's sick father. This did not stop her search, however, and she continued to keep Cindy's name in the media both nationally and internationally. She's in the Unsolved Mysteries episode, and she's so, like, sweet and soft-spoken.
Was it an old one?
It's sad. It's it's from 2002, so it's a year after she went missing. And I think it's the last season of Unsolved Mysteries before it was brought back this past year.
Yeah, because I have rinsed the new one.
Yeah.
And I was like, the old ones feel like super old, so maybe I should start on like the 2002 one rather than like the original one.
Yeah.
Yeah, the new one's like, I really like the new ones, but I fucking hate the one that has like ghosts in it or aliens. I'm like, that is not an unsolved mystery. Like, that is boo hockey.
Those were the ones that when I was a kid and I would watch it, the alien ones terrified me.
Really?
Yes. when I was a kid and I like didn't know, I was like, oh my God. And also I think there was like this big boom of like alien popularity in
must
the 90s.
Must have been like,
in
X-Files like coincided with that. It must have been, yeah.
Right. Yeah. So they were just in the ether
stratosphere.
Like, they were,
well, they're somewhere, Rach. No one knows where.
And I was just scared of aliens, that an alien was gonna beam through my window at night and kidnap me.
Yeah, well, that's just a load of shit, isn't it? I mean, obviously, like, I know you were a kid, but also at the end they're like, if you know anything about the disappearance of, you know,
Yeah.
Joe Blogs, then give us a call. What the fuck are you supposed to do at the end of those ones? If you know anything about aliens, then give us, like, what?
Those are the people that do call.
Exactly, those are the fucking nut jobs that do call that want a fucking 5 minutes. Oh, honestly, aliens boil my piss, man. They're not real.
Oh, I guess this is not the time to tell you that my godfather was abducted by aliens.
I mean, was he?
He believes so, or he's dead now, but that's a story for another time.
That's a shame because Carly fucking loves aliens, the supernatural. She bought a David Icke book. Like, she loves it. Anything to do with that. So,
Wait, so you don't think there's any other life on any other planet?
no, like, I'm not so arrogant as to believe that. Right. Okay. For fuck's sake.
Let's clarify.
Right, okay. Just quickly, because we've got to get on. But, like, one, I don't think we're the only thing in the universe, but I also don't think I know that. I'm like, okay, it's likely that we're not, but I'm not going to say for sure we are or we aren't, because I don't have, like, the fucking scientific training or, like, and, like, no one has the ability to say that. That's one thing. And then the other thing is ghosts and aliens and all this stuff. Like, I regularly will think I see something in the corner of my eye, or honestly, like, the other day, a car went past us and I was like, oh my God, there was like a big bloke driving that car. And Carly was like, no, there wasn't. It was a woman. And I was like, that was a bloke. And she was like, no. And we looked and it was like a really girly woman. So I just seen a blur and my brain had gone, that's a big burly man. So you can't trust your fucking brain. It's just not, it's not reliable enough. Your eyes put together pictures of what they want to see or what they think they've seen for your own safety. Like, it's like a evolutionary thing.
Yeah.
You're designed to see faces and to see predators and stuff. So you're, like, programmed to do that. So, like, that's kind of what I believe things are. Being, like, zapped up in a saucer and having your arse probed. Like, okay, I can't explain, like, why someone thought that, but I'm not sure I think it's real.
All right.
Oh
Okay.
my God, you believe in aliens?
I think that we are. I think ghosts and aliens are like two separate things.
Okay.
Ghosts are like, yeah, can't really prove that or anything, but.
But aliens?
Well, yeah, you can. I mean, NASA goes to other planets. Like, there are other life forms, and I can't expect that humans are the smartest, most advanced things in the history of the universe.
I mean, it's a good point. Yeah.
Like, we're dumb idiots. There's other things out there that are probably way smarter than us on the planet
Wherever.
X251.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. What I'm saying is, like, I don't firmly believe yes or no either way, but, like, I would lean towards that it's crack jobs.
Oh yeah, like I don't believe the people who are like, oh, I saw an alien fly by. Like, I think that's more in line with what you're saying, like, oh, something out of the corner of your eye, or like something flying in the sky or whatever. But I do think that there are other life forms.
There's something out there.
There's something out there. Is that the saying for X-Files?
No, the saying for X-Files is keep watching the skies, I think.
Oh. Is it?
Because in Simpsons he goes, keep watching the skis. Oh, skies. Yeah. It's a fucking interesting topic, and, like, people who are sure that they my stepdad is like 100% that he's seen a ghost, multiple ghosts.
Yeah.
My mum said she's seen a ghost.
Yeah.
Like, people I know and love say that they've seen them, and I'm not calling them a liar, like, at all. That's just my personal belief. But yeah, I really like talking about it with people as well, because it's like if you can roll your tongue or not. It's like a complete mystery until you talk to them. And they're like the most unlikely people are like, yeah, I fucking love aliens. Like, totally believe it. You're just like, oh my God. But yeah, it's good fun.
Yeah, and I think there's different levels of belief as well. Anyways, we've talked a lot of shit today.
I don't care. People like it when we talk a lot of shit.
Yeah.
Also, we need to delve into your Godfather more, possibly in a bonus episode, because I am interested.
He's an interesting person.
Yeah, I need to know more. Okay.
Okay. I feel bad. Like, I want to give Cindy the time.
She
and
will. She'll get the
respect.
time. There's
Yeah.
no limit on this time, Rachel. There's no one. There's no director. There's no one owns this. Like
Yeah.
this is a shambles of our own making. So do what you wish.
Right. So Cindy's mom came, but she had to go back to South Korea. Cindy's family formed a coalition with Penn State students, alumni, and community members in order to help search for the missing 21-year-old. The FBI were brought in, as well as help offered by Penn State University. The coalition grew frustrated with the police's effort in finding Cindy. They were angry to learn that after she had disappeared, a woman in Philadelphia, which is about 200 miles away from the college town, she claims to have seen Cindy in a car in early November. The woman, who was walking her dog, heard a woman crying, "Help me, please help me."
Oh God.
The woman claims that when she went to help, the man driving the car told her to get away. The woman told police of the incident, but no complaint was filed. However, police said that they did follow the lead, but although they came back with a sketch of the man, the woman had changed her story multiple times.
Oh.
Yeah, so there was that. Police looked at Cindy's diary, where they learned of a tough breakup in the month prior between Cindy and a boyfriend she had been living with, leading investigators and some of her family members to ask whether she had committed suicide from, heartache or...
Yeah. What would she have done?
Yeah, and if she did, you would have found her.
Yeah.
In her diary, Cindy had also written about trying ecstasy and marijuana, giving police a reason to believe that her disappearance may have been drug-related. However, on both theories, Cindy's close friends told police that, one, after her breakup, Cindy had started therapy and was taking medication for her mental state, so she was doing it right.
Yeah.
She sounds like a very responsible, level-headed person.
At 21, to ask for help when you're feeling mentally overwhelmed is very responsible.
Yes, I applaud her.
Yeah.
And then two, everyone in college experimented with drugs.
Oh, so... marijuana and ecstasy. It's not exactly shooting up, is it?
Right.
No.
She probably had one entry tried marijuana today. I don't think I'll do that again for a while,
Yeah, she's not like a pothead.
That's what I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Right. Apparently she had a website, and I clicked on the link to see it, but it doesn't exist anymore. So I have a feeling that maybe it was a MySpace profile.
Yeah.
So it had I saw different quotes, and it was I like this and I'm like this way. And
oh, MySpace, they were simpler days.
I know. Top 8.
Yeah.
But one of her quotes that she had was I love having fun and trying new things, everything except hard drugs. Or it was something like that. So even though she had tried weed and ecstasy, it was I'm not that person.
She sounds like a librarian. She didn't even slut it up for the Halloween costume.
Right. She just sounds like a cute...
straight edge.
Yeah.
Just normal.
And she's doing everything right. She has a boyfriend. She went to therapy. She tried drugs. She has fun. She parties with her friends.
It's all very normal.
Everything. Yeah, exactly. So that's why her family and friends were frustrated with the police, because they were following up on these leads, and it was no, she wasn't that kind of person. She wasn't the kind of person who would just abruptly go and commit suicide because she broke up with her boyfriend.
What year was this?
2001.
Yeah, so CCTV probably wasn't as good as it is now.
Right. With the 24-hour convenience store, they had taped over it, which is pretty normal.
Pretty fucking annoying as well.
Yeah, really is.
Stop doing that.
Okay. After 3 months of searching and following leads, the police were left with nothing. Her credit cards had not been used, and phone records showed that no calls were made after she had been dropped off at her apartment that night. One detective described her disappearance as though she had just vanished. The trail went cold. So that was 3 months, so November, December, January. So in 2002, they made the Unsolved Mysteries, just saying this
that's quite
girl
quick.
has disappeared. Yeah, I thought so too.
Is that your Crime Watch?
What? It kind of was, but it was because it was national, then it wasn't like Crime Watch is like every week.
Yeah.
Uh,
And in your area, like specific to your area.
yes, more local. Whereas Unsolved Mysteries is stories on unsolved mysteries, first of all. So I'm sure there's tons of those.
You are invited to give information at the end, which is like fairly similar to Crime Watch.
Right. Yeah, I guess it is similar to that. Crime Watch is like broad too. Unsolved Mysteries is like,
Yeah.
can't solve this, we need your help.
Yeah.
All right. In 2003, a career criminal by the name of Paul Weekly was held on a felony burglary charge and was convinced to talk to police and tell them everything he knew. He admitted that one of his accomplices, Hugo Selensky, along with another man, Michael Kurkowski, had abducted a young woman from Penn State that they thought was a sex worker. He said she was wearing a bunny costume and that the men took her to Selensky's home where they kept her in a walk-in safe, assaulting her and leaving her there to die.
Shit.
Paul Weekly not only told authorities about this abduction, but about the many murders that Hugo Selensky had committed, including that of his accomplice, Michael Kurkowski. So Michael and Hugo supposedly abducted Cindy, and their other accomplice, Paul, knew about it or heard about it.
Yeah.
That's the story.
Well, it seems as likely as anything else.
Yeah.
Or is he just a bullshit?
And, well, we'll get into that more. So
Okay.
Paul Weekly admitted that Hugo Selensky had killed Kurkowski and his girlfriend, Tammy Fassett. Michael Kurkowski had been a wanted fugitive since mid-2002 after he was convicted of several felonies for running an illegal drug ring out of his pharmacy. He went missing with his girlfriend, Tammy, while awaiting sentencing. Paul Weekly claimed that Hugo Selensky actually had killed Michael. Oh, and this is like a side note. Supposedly, Michael Kurkowski had kept Cindy's bunny ears as a trophy, and Hugo didn't like that.
Yeah, that's gross.
But because Selensky had killed Kurkowski, then they couldn't go and question him about the disappearance of Cindy.
Okay.
So this is all like hearsay. It's kind of complicated.
Yeah. I think I'm with you, but there's still the guy that was involved in the killing of Cindy that killed his accomplice. He's still alive.
Yes.
Somewhere.
And we will talk more about him.
Okay.
So, Weekly took authorities to Selensky's home where 5 bodies were found buried in the backyard, including the bodies of Michael Kurkowski and his girlfriend Tammy.
Jeez Louise.
I know. None of the bodies found, however, matched Cindy, but over the next decade, they kept searching his house. An additional 7 bodies were found on the property.
Fucking hell, where?
Buried in the backyard.
Oh my god.
Yeah. And Selensky had moved to that property months after the disappearance of Cindy.
Okay. She could be anywhere.
There could be, yes. Authorities also searched Weekly's computer where he had downloaded stories of Cindy's disappearance, leading them to believe that Weekly may have memorized the details of the case in order to give info for his plea deal. Both Weekly and Selensky are also connected to another man by the name of Stephen Allen Martin. And we're going to do another episode on this whole area of people.
Yeah.
Because
this sounds intense.
Yeah, Selensky is almost considered a serial killer. He just hasn't been proved to have killed all those people in his backyard.
Why the fuck else would have killed him? What is he running?
I know, who...
Some sort of service? Got a
there's-
corpse?
In this area, there's so much blue-collar crime and white-collar crime and, like, just a circle of things.
Jeez.
So they were connected to this other man, Stephen Allen Martin. He was a pedophile and murderer who was also the last person to see 2 missing women alive. I'm going to do an episode on him.
Yeah, do it.
This group of men, along with burglary and drug deals, were rumored to make snuff films, which connected them to more missing women.
That's fucking grim.
Yeah. However, Stephen Allen Martin, who was seen burning bags and boxes on his property before he was arrested, never had his property searched, as he was the son of a police officer.
Oh, here we go.
So people believe that he may have been part of a cover-up.
Well, yeah.
In 2005, he committed suicide in prison. So there's that.
It's like fucking Israel Keys. Secret bodies everywhere.
Yeah.
Connected
Son
with
of a
missing
cop.
people. Yeah, fuck.
Right. Hugo Selinski admitted to kidnapping a young woman from State College on Halloween night and burying her body in Luzerne County. Authorities also learned that he bragged about it to a friend. In 2003, Paul Weekly went to prison for unrelated murder and burglary charges, but that year, Selinski was acquitted for the bodies found on his property, and he went to prison for burglary charges.
Okay, well, this goes right to the top.
I know. It really does. It started to get complicated, and then I just decided I'm just going to do another episode on a couple of these guys because this is about Cindy. In 2014, Paul Weekly admitted to being an accomplice in the murder of Michael Kurkowski and Tammy. He told the jury that he had lied to investigators in the beginning, blaming most of the crimes and details surrounding it on Selinski so that he would receive a lighter sentence. This, along with the fact that Paul Weekly had info on Cindy's case on his computer and that he knew that Selinski and Kurkowski had buried Cindy's bodies in Luzerne County, has led some to believe that he may have also been involved in her disappearance. In 2015, authorities announced that during Michael Selinski's trial in 2003, that Selinski's attorneys and a private investigator were involved in witness intimidation and other crimes relating to Selinski's case. So, Selinski was convicted of the murders of Kurkowski and Tammy, and he was sentenced to life in prison. Both Selinski and Weekly are serving prison sentences today, with Selinski now believed to be a serial killer.
Yeah, sounds like it.
He looks like a psycho, by the way.
Oh, we'll get a picture of that put up.
Yeah. Cindy Song's disappearance on Halloween night 2000 never... What?
2000 never.
2000 never. That's what this year is.
Yeah, it fucking really is. The year that never ends.
Okay, Cindy Song's disappearance on Halloween night 2001 has never been solved. Family and friends and minority groups of Penn State have criticized the university and law enforcement's handling of her case, but authorities still claim to have minimal evidence and that all leads have been exhausted. And that is the story of the disappearance of Cindy Song on Halloween night.
Oh, that was great. That opened up so many other doors.
It really did.
Jeez. I mean, it kind of seems like, and like, correct me if I'm wrong, but from what you've said, it sounds like it was these guys.
Mm-hmm.
And to be honest, just walking from your house to the shop in, what men would deem like a provocative costume.
Yeah.
As a young girl, she was just thinking, I need whatever from the shop. I'm just going to go and get it.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
Whereas blokes go, oh, she's asking for it. She's dressed up like it was like an attention grabbing, a bit of attire kind of thing. So like, it really wouldn't surprise me if like she got shit from some guys and then they like came over and then just fucking
grabbed her. Yeah. And she was only 5 feet tall.
God.
So she was a little,
tiny. Yeah, that's so shit. And it's dark at the moment because, like I told you earlier, like they put the clocks back, which, again, to me, I think it gives you an extra hour in the morning for like farmers. It's a really old kind of system. But like for me, now I finish work and like the second I finish work at 5 o'clock, it's pitch black. And I'm like, for fuck's sake, like I really want to like take the dog for a walk, but like I feel like I can't do that because I don't want to walk around on my own in the dark.
Yeah. Also, I just realized too, like you talking about that, on Halloween, there's more activity in the streets than there is usually.
But didn't you say it was like 5 in the morning?
It was 5 in the morning, but then by that time you're like, oh, it's going to be light soon. You know, you probably see a little bit of sun.
Like people are getting up.
I just know that feeling of, I feel more safe than usual because it's Halloween, there's people in the streets.
Yeah.
And it's almost morning. I'm going to walk to the shop and get my milk and cereal because I'm hungry.
She could have been going to get tampons, batteries, like anything, like something that you needed.
Yeah. Right. So I understand the feeling of feeling a little bit safer just because of those factors. It's not like 2 a.m. on a Tuesday night and it's pitch black out and nobody's outside.
Yeah.
Then I wouldn't go out. But 5 a.m. on Halloween, day after Halloween, it's like you feel a little bit more okay to go out.
Like Christmas Eve as well, I think is like a time when you
Mm.
think everyone's out and about, like getting drunk or
Yeah.
doing their thing, or
Right.
yeah, I know what you mean. Or New Year's, you'd do that on
Right.
New Year,
Right.
like special occasions are
Yeah.
times when you'd think there's extra people out on the streets.
Yeah.
Not now because it's fucking coronavirus, but like when things were
But in
normal.
2001,
Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, and I do think that they had something to do with it, because if the guy who had bodies in his backyard admitted to it, and he was like bragging about it to his friends or a friend or something, then they probably don't even know who it was. They just did it.
Yeah.
Didn't get her name or anything. So if she was on the news, then
I think as well, like if that guy had said, "Oh, this guy murdered her," and he was just like, you know, a normal kind of like burglar or violent crime or drug crime or something, but he was a fucking serial murderer.
yeah,
If
exactly.
like
He's done it a bunch of times before.
doesn't seem out of the realm of possibility that like this guy would kill
Right.
someone.
Yeah. I read something about how they were talking about him, Hugo Solinsky, and they were like, this guy isn't on Murderpedia. There's barely anything known about him,
Yeah.
but he's basically a serial killer.
And he seems to have a lot of victims.
Yeah. In his backyard.
Yeah.
Like, how many serial killers have that?
Like fucking John Wayne Gacy and like Fred West. Like
Yeah.
even Ted Bundy scattered it about.
Right.
Yeah, that's arrogance. Like,
Right.
but then I think, is it arrogance or is it clever? Because you know who comes in and out of your backyard. Like it's your backyard.
That's true. But
And John Wayne
when
Gacy,
the day comes where
I mean, his house started to stink, so like that wasn't a good idea. But
yeah.
you keep an eye on everything, you know?
Right. Because he was a career criminal, he had a lot of money. He had like a swimming pool.
Oh, wow.
It looked like he had land. So it's not like he had next door neighbors
No.
who were like, what's going on over there?
Yeah, that's why you said when they found like 7 other bodies, I was like, Jesus. And then you said, oh,
Yeah.
But then I'm thinking of like an English back garden, which is like,
Yeah.
which is like, I don't know, 10 meters long
Yeah,
by like
that's
7
the
meters
whole
wide.
garden.
Yeah. And like every fucking centimeter of that place would have had a body in it. You're like, no, he had like land. So
Yeah.
we're in Philadelphia. Like, is that where we are? Yeah.
Pennsylvania. Yeah.
Pennsylvania. Yeah, it's roomy, right?
Yeah.
It's not a garden as I think of a garden. Definitely not. Okay, so yours actually happened on Halloween, which is something I didn't have the luxury of. I've realised like there's a very big disparity between me and you in this, because you have the whole of America, which is massive, and although it isn't a very old country, it's a very mad country. So like,
Yes.
the people there are fucking crackers, and like English people just have a far more stiff upper lip, just get on with it kind of attitude, I think. So they don't murder nearly as much.
This is what I say when I lived in England. They were like, oh, America's a crazy country. I started to think, like, if the UK were times by 20...
Oh, more?
People would be a little bit more similar to America. I feel like it would be, like, comparable.
We haven't got the space to be mental.
Yeah, exactly.
You are mental on your next door neighbour's doorstep. Like, you're not mental... Right. Yeah, like, mental people get found out so quickly here. and gotten rid of. Like, no, thank you. None of that.
Yeah.
We haven't got the room. We haven't got the time. Like, please leave.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, whereas you guys have got, like, fucking outback. And in Australia as well, you get fucking mental crimes, because they've just got the big areas where you can cook meth as well. I think that probably adds to a lot of it.
Yeah,
exactly. I'd say that's a big factor.
So many hidden spaces.
Yeah, I'd say being able to produce meth easily is a big factor in in how many people are murdered.
Right, and where you can hide.
Yeah.
So yeah, Australia too. Shout out to our Australian listeners. I know that we have a couple.
We do. We definitely do. More than a couple.
Yeah.
Seen it on the stats, mate.
Yeah. Hi.
G'day, mate.
G'day, mate.
Yeah, you're doing very well with coronavirus. No more lockdown for you.
I know, good job.
Well done. My story, although it doesn't take place on Halloween, it does involve a vampire and
Oh.
yeah. And also, I said like the UK is not mad. Well, like a vast majority
Yeah.
of my stories have been in Wales. Like, I'm not trying to point fingers, but it's fucking mental.
Do we have a Welsh vampire?
There's a Welsh vampire in this story.
Oh, a bit of blood.
The thing is, this happened in North Wales, which is like a really fucking weird accent. It's like Welsh mixed with Liverpool. I had a North Welsh boyfriend. Basically, his job was he worked for the passport people because we have to provide Welsh speaking services because obviously the Welsh language is like it's widespread enough for us to have to cater for it. So he would basically translate from Welsh into English for people who lived in like deepest, darkest Wales and couldn't even speak English properly.
Right.
So yeah, I got a lot of the Welsh accent, like the North Welsh accent, and it's fucking great. If you want to hear it, then there's a lot of it in this program that I got the story from, and it's called A Killer in My Village.
Ooh.
And you can get it on Now TV. In England, or I think it's probably on YouTube as well, this episode. Yeah, it's called Killer in My Village. And do you know what? Usually those shows I'm like, but this show is absolutely savage. They have such hideous murders in it. So this is one of them. And this is the murder of Mabel Lation.
Okay.
This story takes place in a small town called it's double L. So I think it should be Llanfair in Anglesey, North Wales. On Sunday the 25th of November, I feel like I'm talking a Welsh accent. On Sunday the 25th of November. No, that was fucking ridiculous. Right, okay, start again. On Sunday the 25th of November 2001, Mabel Lation, a 90-year-old widow, was due to have her lunch delivered by Meals on Wheels.
Aww.
I know. I don't know if you have that in America, don't you?
We do, yeah.
Yeah. It's just fucking old people that basically can't even cook for themselves anymore. So it's just the saddest, cutest thing ever. Her lunchtime meal was due to be delivered at 12:30, but she wasn't answering the door. So the delivery lady knew that Mabel was really hard of hearing. So she went round the back of the cottage and tried to get her attention that way. She found that the French window had been broken. So she called the police thinking there'd been a break-in, and she didn't want to go in and ruin the crime scene. Like, can I just applaud the Meals on Wheels lady? Like,
she's a murderino.
Well done. She has been listening to our true crime podcast.
Mm-hmm.
So she calls the police, and they arrive, and they enter the house and go through the dining room and the hall, and then they turn left into the living room. So the curtains are drawn, and it's really dark. But the policewoman found Mabel sat up in her chair with a blanket pulled up, hiding her face.
That's scary.
That is fucking scary. But she walked over and removed the blanket from Mabel's face, and it was clear that Mabel was dead. She had stab marks to her neck and chest. So she backed the fuck out of there as well. And she called the forensic examiners, and then the house was cordoned off. So the forensic team entered the house, and then on the floor, next to Mabel's body, they saw crossed fire pokers. So they're basically fire pokers on the floor in the shape of a cross. And there's a red candlestick as well. And to the left of Mabel on the floor, there was a very small saucepan, and on top of it was a package wrapped in newspaper, and the newspaper was covered in blood.
What the fuck?
Yeah, this is really Halloween-y. So they removed, this is a fucking horror film. So they removed the blanket and discovered that, sorry about this, but Mabel's chest cavity had been very roughly cut open, and Mabel's heart had been removed. So the police decided that fact was so gruesome that they were going to keep it to themselves rather than report it in the press to stop widespread panic. Police continued their investigation, and they found that Mabel's heart had not only been removed, but the top of the heart had been cut so that blood could be squeezed and emptied out of it.
Wow.
This is particularly grim. I mean, like, I was like watching this program while I was like doing work, and I double took at the TV and was like, what the fuck? So heart had been cut and blood had been squeezed empty out of it. So the pan that they found had a ring of blood around its edge, but no blood in it. And someone had also left a lip mark on the edge of the pan. So since there was no trace of blood in the sink or the toilet, the police came to the conclusion that someone had put blood in the pan and drunk it. I'm drinking red wine right now as well. Gross. So there were shoe prints left at the scene on the floor, and there was glass on the floor as well. And in the edge of the door, they found some fibres which were from denim. So basically, it looked like somebody had crawled through the door and scratched their jeans and left fibres of jeans. So they also worked out that the knife responsible for the murder would have been about 6 inches long and single bladed, so basically a kitchen knife. They also knew what type of weapon they were looking for. And blood samples were taken from this scene, but they all came back as Mabel's blood, apart from one, which was a male DNA sample. So it was kind of faint, like they didn't have much information on it, but they knew that it was a man's DNA rather than a woman's. The house was on a main road, and you would have to know the village well to know where it is and know that there's a hard of hearing old lady living there. So they decided to focus on people within the village. They knocked on doors and they took DNA from every man aged between 18 to 60.
Wow.
So, like, they're making such a big effort. I mean, they must have like one murder a year, if that, in Wales.
Yeah,
so, like,
that.
the budget is just sitting there waiting to be.
They're so excited to do some actual police detective work.
Like, every man in this town. Yeah, so they're fucking on it. Like, there's good police work in this. Like, you can't knock them. They also got a criminal psychologist to profile the person who they thought could have committed the crime. And as a result of this, they stated that it would have been a loner who is living alone or with parents, possibly someone with the starting stages of schizophrenia, and someone who stands out as a little strange. I mean, I could have probably told you that.
Yeah.
It's not going to be the headmaster of the local school, is it?
I just imagine the criminal psychologist like, this is his moment. Or her.
And he's like,
this is their moment.
And they're like, I am going to bet that it's someone weird. And you're like, thanks.
Some kind of loner.
Thanks, here's your check, get out of it.
Yeah.
Well, that was worth it. Yeah, so they just think it's someone weird, which I think we could have all guessed. And then, so this is a bit of a curveball. Later that week, a 37-year-old man poured petrol on himself and threw himself off a nearby bridge.
Okay.
The community was keen to believe that this was the perpetrator who had killed himself after feeling too guilty about the murder. But when they looked at it in his home, where he lived with his parents, they found poems in Welsh, which were extractions from the Bible that mentioned the heart quite a lot. So,
oh wow,
yeah, this seemed kind of likely, but then the police searched his shoes and they couldn't find any that matched the shoe prints from the crime scene, and they also went through his clothes and they couldn't find any matching fibres. So he was he was just later eliminated from the inquiry.
Okay. Good police work.
It is good, but Jesus Christ, like, woman gets fucking absolutely like gouged, and then a week later someone sets himself on fire and throws himself off a bridge. You'd be like, what is going on?
Right. Is there something in the water?
Yeah, like they just weren't connected, which is really, really weird. But then the police went back to looking at the main piece of evidence they had, which was a shoe print, and they knew that it was from a pair of trainers, and they found out that it was a Levi shoe, and this particular type hadn't sold very well. And they found out that the only place that sold the shoe, it was a shop in nearby Bangor, North Wales.
Okay.
And they found out that they had only sold 53 pairs, and that 48 pairs were paid for by credit card and 5 were paid for by cash. So they set about tracing every person that had bought those pair of shoes.
Wow.
Which, again, great police work.
But you could also narrow that down even further by size, because you only need to look for one size.
Very true. Rachel, you're wasted here. You should be in the police.
I love the process of elimination. It's like, here's how to make it easier and easier.
No, you're right. You're right. Totally right. So on the 20th December, 4 weeks after the murder, the police decided to reveal the details of the crime to shock people into coming forward with any information that they knew. And a Crime Watch reconstruction was aired to the public. Good old Crime Watch. The police received over 200 calls, and one was from a German exchange student. She isn't named because she's 16, so we never know her name. But she had been in a house with 2 other boys at a party, and one of the youths wanted her to bite him and turn him into a vampire. She named the boy...
Okay.
Yeah, weird behaviour. She named the boy a 17-year-old Mathew Hardman. So Mathew Hardman was 17 years old, and people saw him as a remarkably average teenager. He did well in school, and he had a part-time job delivering the paper to residents of the town. His mum was a nurse, and his dad was a firefighter, and he died when Matthew was 13 of an unexpected asthma attack. But even, given this, he proved to be a diligent, well-behaved school pupil. He liked video games, music, hanging out with his friends, and he had an interest in art and design. The police decided to go and speak to Matthew off the back of this call, and they'd already spoken to Matthew as part of their initial inquiries, but because he was under 18, he didn't have to give them any DNA. So... Yeah, so he slipped under the radar. So they visited him again with the previous information he had given, which was that he'd never been to the house and he didn't know Mabel. But this time his mum was there, and she corrected Matthew, telling him that Mabel was the old lady he delivered the paper to on his route. Thanks, Mum. Proper dobbed him in.
Up, Mom.
Proper dobbed him in. He had started delivering papers in 1996, but said he didn't mention it because he didn't think that it was relevant. Oh, what?
Sure.
You didn't think it was relevant that woman on your paper round had died? Well, had been brutally murdered. They asked him when he last went to the house where Mabel lived, and his mother again corrected him and told him, no, you were there just weeks before the murder. Fuck off, Mum.
Shut up, Mom.
Up! Literally, she is the key to all of this. She's just thrown him straight under the bus. They asked him if they could see all of his shoes, and when they looked in his bedroom, they recognised the Levi shoes immediately. So they didn't want to alert him, so they told him that they needed to take all of his shoes, not particularly those ones, and his DNA to eliminate him from the inquiry. When it came back that Matthew's shoes matched perfectly to the prints found at the scene, the police arrested him and searched his house. In his bedroom, they found a black jacket which contained a knife in the pocket, and the knife was the exact kind that they were looking for. About 6 inches long, single blade, kitchen type knife. And he explained that, this is quite clever, he explained the knife away by saying that he got it after the news of the murder so that he could protect himself.
Whatever.
I know. So, what, you think the 90-year-old lady murderer wants you?
Right.
So they interviewed him and he was really calm. And the only time that he became uncomfortable was when they mentioned DNA. So the DNA that they found in the house matched the DNA that they'd taken from Matthew when they arrested him. And so he was charged with murder.
Wow.
He pled not guilty. And I don't know where he gets the brass arsehole to do this. Because they have got so much fucking evidence. It's ridiculous. They've got his scratched jeans, and then they've got the fibres on the glass from his jeans. They've got the knife.
Is his mom just coming in being like, but you were gone that night?
Yeah.
What are you doing, you idiot?
His mum must have been like, Matthew told me that he wanted to kill Mabel. Shut up!
Yeah.
Will someone get this bitch out of here? She's ruining my case.
Just the whole time through trial, she's just sitting in the back being like, Matthew.
Yeah. Don't lie.
Yeah.
You said you hated Mabel and you wanted to kill her.
Right.
Yeah, she's ruining it for everything. He pled not guilty. Again, I don't know where he gets the brass arsehole for it, but in July 2002, he went to trial, and the prosecution outlined that on the day that Matthew went to Mabel's house after dark, they believed that he threw some slate at her window to break it, and then he crawled in. Then he approached her from behind while she was watching TV, and he stabbed her through the shoulder blade initially, and then he stabbed her 22 more times. he... Oh, and on the documentary as well, it said that one of like the initial stab wounds stabbed her in the heart, so she would have died like fairly quickly, which is
Oh, that's good.
it. Yeah, I mean it's not good.
She didn't have to deal with pain.
Yeah, I mean I think she died pretty quickly, which is
Right.
a small mercy. So then he slashed the back of her legs to try and get blood out, but because she died, there was no blood flowing freely around her body, so that didn't work. And then that's when he removed her heart and squeezed the blood into the pan. He then drank it. Fucking gross. He then wrapped the heart in newspaper, and then he set up some sort of shrine, which was his like crossed fire poker things and the candle and stuff. And then during the court process, it was also revealed that he was obsessed with vampires and had asked the 16-year-old girl mentioned before to bite his neck.
Okay, good job to her.
Yeah, I know.
She's the one who set all that off.
Yeah, she literally like put the police onto him. And because of the whole 18 to 60 thing, he would have gotten away with it. Probably.
Right.
I don't know, like...
Yeah.
Yeah, because they were relying on the fact that it would come back with some DNA from someone in the village, and it never would have. So, yeah, good for her. So basically, when he asked the 16-year-old girl to bite his neck, she was really freaked out, and she was like, can you get out of my house? And he wouldn't. So
Please leave.
Fuck off. So they ended up calling the police, and then the police turned up, and then he asked the police officer to bite his neck.
Whoa, where was this police officer during this whole thing?
I know. Like, I'm assuming that he just thought he was being really fucking annoying and cheeky and didn't want to leave, and was just being like a teenager being like, oh, why don't you bite my neck? Like, maybe just being stupid? Because it's such a stupid thing to do.
What kind of weirdo says that to people? Like, where was your impulse to keep saying it?
Yeah, this is a real... And this, like, comes out later. This is a real red flag for me because this is, like, evidence of the fact that he probably was insane. But... Okay, anyway. So, nothing happened. He just got thrown out the house and he wasn't charged. They also searched his computer, and they found a lot of macabre searches, including things about vampires and things about DNA. Like, how do you get found out by DNA, etc. Classic. Stop Googling it. They also... Stop it. They also found out that on the knife that was in his pocket, he'd put it through the dishwasher, but there was a crack in the handle, and when they swabbed that crack, they found blood that belonged to Mabel.
Okay.
So you really are fucked now.
Yeah. No more pleading not guilty.
I don't know what his lawyers were doing. But it took 3 weeks for the evidence to be heard, and the jury returned just 4 hours later and found him guilty. The judge sentenced him to life, but because he was 17, it's quite a low minimum, so it was set to life but with a minimum of 12 years, which is kind of low. But the judge, Mr. Justice Richards, said obsession with vampirism was behind the killing, adding, you really did believe that this myth may be true, and you did think that you would achieve immortality by drinking of another person's blood, and you found this an irresistible attraction. He said, all you have achieved is the brutal ending of another person's life and the bringing of a life sentence upon yourself. He has now served his 12-year minimum sentence, but because he still denies the crime, he won't be released.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
And he's insane.
Well, that's the story of Mathew Hardman. And his lawyers never even put forward a plea of not guilty by insanity, which to me sounds really irresponsible, because even the judge said you genuinely believed it, which, like, surely that's the mark of someone that's not very mentally well.
Yeah, I want to know more about his parents, because you said at first that he was just a normal kid who played video games and had a part-time job. What were the people around him other than that girl who had a weird interaction? I want to know what else happens.
Well, apparently I just had like normal mates. Yeah, there's no one. Wow. But I mean, some people are really good at keeping stuff in, especially when their mums are fucking blabbermouth. He didn't want to say anything, mate. His mum would like blab it all.
Yeah, get out of my room.
I told you not to disturb me while I'm cleaning my room.
I told you to knock.
It's got a cape on. With fake vampire teeth in. Like, gobs them out to talk to her.
Yeah. Was Twilight out at that time?
No, so this was something that I took out because I was like, it's not really relevant. It was before Twilight came out, but then they were like,
Okay.
oh, Interview with a Vampire had come out and Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and I'm like, that was really a lot earlier.
It was, and
a lot
like,
earlier.
I'm wondering, like, when you're a teenager, you do kind of obsess over certain, like girls have boy bands that they're obsessed with, or like guys have video games that, or anyone have video games that they're obsessed with.
You have your
so
thing.
I guess if you're if you're a mom, you're like, oh, he's just really into vampires. Like, I guess.
I think he kept it quite secret.
How much would you be concerned over it? How much is he showing? How much of his obsession is he showing?
I think he kind of only revealed himself to like the people he was that like really, really close to, because the German girl, some sources say that was his girlfriend, and some sources say it was just a random girl. So
if you were his girlfriend, though, you would distance. You'd be like, no, we never dated.
Yeah, no, definitely. But it did say that she, once he said the whole "can you bite me" thing, she was like, "fuck you," and like never saw him again after that.
Okay.
So she's got her head screwed on. But
yeah.
Also, it said that he said to the German girl, although I didn't include it because I couldn't prove it through like a good source, but it kind of said that he said to her, this village is perfect for being a vampire because it's full of old people and old people won't be missed.
Okay.
So that's also like a big ding 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 red flag.
Yeah, and I kind of believe that. Like, you would remember if somebody said something like that to you.
And it sounds like something that you would say if you lived in a massive village of old people and you wanted to be a vampire.
Right. Right.
Makes sense.
That was a good Halloween story. Good old vampire.
I wish it was made up because
Classic.
It's so gross.
Yeah, it is gross. And sorry to not give any warning before those. Yeah.
Oh, I know, sorry. But I didn't get any warning either. It came on and I was like, holy fuck. Honestly, they were like, and there was a saucepan and it had a heart wrapped in newspaper. I was like, what now?
Like, you think, oh, just normal body stabbed, the end.
Accidental shooting.
Right.
Think that someone's shooting pheasants, but they didn't. That's what I expect from Killer in My Village. I don't expect 90-year-olds getting their hearts cut out.
Yeah.
But, also, the sad facts about Mabel, she was 90 and she'd lived in that house for 40 years.
Oh.
She was married to a vet, and then the vet died, and so she was a widow, but she never had any children. So she was just like kept herself to herself.
Yeah, and that's probably why she had Meals on Wheels.
I know.
She didn't have anyone around to check on her every day.
And that's so horrible.
Oh.
And it makes me think like, I should definitely have kids because I need someone to look after me when I'm old. And I'm the youngest one as well of the family. Like, I'm fucked.
You have nieces and nephews, though, don't you?
That's true. I need to get in with them.
Yeah, just treat them like little princes and princesses.
Yeah. They are. They're great. I've got a nephew called Eddie who's 16 and he's just so fun. Like, it's so fun, like, remembering when you were 16 and all the shit that you got up to. And then my nephew Harvey is like a little bit older. He's 19. And he sends pictures of him like getting pissed up to the group chat. Like, I love it.
Aww.
He went to like an all-day cocktail, like bottomless cocktail thing. It was just like
amazing.
Yeah, we were just saying like when you were 19 and you took like handfuls of ecstasy and then you just went to work the next day, and it's like now you have like a slightly powerful spaghetti and you need to take about 5 Gaviscon and go to bed.
Yeah, you need to recoup for 3 days after.
Like, oh, this heartburn is murder.
When you're 19, you're like, yeah, I'll just chug some water and I'm good.
You're like, water, chewing gum, brush through the hair, off to work. I remember being at work when I was 19 and I was so drunk I like couldn't see. I was so drunk from the night before. Yeah. And everyone was just laughing at me. And then I like had a little bit of a sick and then a chewing gum and came back and was like, yeah, I'm ready to go.
Yeah. Right. Yep, I remember a Christmas party for my work. This was in my early 20s.
Those good old days.
I had to work the next day, and I remember coming in with my friend.
Drew the short straw.
Yeah, we both slept for like 2 hours. She came to my house. We came in, and we both just sat at work, just blank, nothing. Like she borrowed. It was like a fancy Christmas party, and she had like her gown on and heels, and I gave her a hoodie to wear.
I love it when you borrow your friend's stuff and it's either really big or really small.
Yeah.
And it smells not like your stuff and you're like, ugh.
I know. I think we were so hungover that we took a taxi to work, which you never do that. Like this was in London.
I
like,
can't face the walk.
underground to
No,
work.
I'm not going underground. No.
No,
It
no.
stinks down there.
Don't want to puke. Yeah. Too much loss of control.
No.
But we still did it.
Oh my
and
God.
We still were alive and alert. Like now, I'd be like, nope, can't do it.
No. I'd sooner lose my job than go to work now. Like there's no way it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
It's a fate worse than death. That's how I define hangovers these days. Lately I've been thinking a lot about like if I actually want kids or if it's like what's expected of me. And I keep seeing stuff that makes me think, fuck that. like my friend Emily, she's like a listener of the podcast. Is she a Patreon? I think she might be. Yeah, she might be.
Yeah.
But she put on her Instagram like fucking picture of her at like 4 a.m. with like her baby being like, I'd never sleep anymore. And I was just like, you're my one woman contraception advert. Like, truly.
I'm sure your baby is amazing.
Oh,
Emily.
She doesn't give a fuck. Like, you don't have to do that. and then my friend Catherine, who's just had a baby, was like, why won't my fucking baby sleep? Like, that was her like Instagram status. And also like I was at my brother's and I was really hungover, and like my nephew Austin, who I obviously love to death, but like he came over to me when I was hungover and just headbutted me on the top of the head. I was like, fuck me. This is what being in a car crash must feel like.
Yeah. Hey, try living through it through your teens. Like, I remember being a kid and we had this big bedroom where all of us slept, and there was a crib, and like my sister was like 2 or 3. Just stayed up and just jumped in her crib all night, and I had to be the one to be like, Claire, go to sleep. Go to bed.
That's funny because I know Claire.
Yeah.
I can't find one person that can give me a reason to have kids. Honestly, Rachel, go out there and try and find someone. You won't find anyone. You won't. Like, say to your mum.
My parents.
Well, okay.
My parents.
Okay, so I said to my mum, what's the best thing about having kids? And she just went, like, she was like, like, give me 5 minutes. Like, and I was like, there's got to be something. And she was like, you love them and they love you more than you've ever loved anything in your life. It's a different kind of love. You've never experienced it. Like, it's a kind of like heavenly like love. And I was like, and that's it. She was like, yeah.
Sounds nice though.
It does sound good, but it's the sort of thing I think you have to experience. Like, I want to do a little try before you buy kind of. Like...
That's what nieces and nephews are for.
Yeah, can I get a 5 ml version of this before I buy the 100 ml?
1 hour a day, once a week.
Yeah.
For 30 days.
I'm sure I'll get to like 38 and my fucking hormones will kick in and I'll want a kid. But right now,
I keep wondering that too. Is it gonna kick in?
We've got a while. I'm sure it will.
Yeah.
I'm sure it will.
Got a few more years.
Yeah. I mean, eventually I wanted a cordless Hoover. Like, before I couldn't see the point, but now it's changed my life.
You know what? You know those stupid padded vests that you wear instead of a jacket?
A gilet.
I used to hate the... I don't know. What?
It is called a gilet.
Okay. Whatever you say. I've never heard that word in my life.
Honestly, it's a thing.
I used to hate them. Like, there's no... Just wear a jacket or wear a coat.
They are for dicks.
But guess what?
Now.
Guess what?
You fucking got
I have one. I got one.
Why?
2 weeks ago.
Why?
Well, going on like hikes and stuff, it's kind of nice to have when it gets cold out.
What, because your arms are free? So you're not sweating under the armpit?
Yeah.
Is that the benefit?
I guess.
Rachel, you don't even
Yeah.
care. You don't even
I'm
know
just
why.
saying, like, you change. You change over time.
Tastes change.
Tastes change. Decisions change.
Priorities change. That's
Yeah.
definitely what changes.
Hormones change.
Yeah.
You start to not care anymore about what you look like.
Body fat distribution changes. Okay, well,
Okay,
that's
I
quite
think
enough.
That's a good place to end.
Anyway, happy Halloween, everyone.
Happy Halloween. Yeah, we said everything we need to say.
We really have covered it all. Okay, bye-bye then.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to Transatlantic Crime this week. If you liked what you heard, please rate, review, and subscribe.
And if you'd like to follow us on social media, you can find us on Twitter at TransatCrimePod, Instagram at Transatlantic Crime, and on Facebook with Transatlantic Crime Podcast.
Thanks, bye.